For too many months, of course, we have been denied physical celebration of the Eucharist together. We've had to observe it by science and electronically, and it's been very, very tough on everybody. And now, thanks be to God, we are able to begin to open our churches and celebrate the Eucharist together around the table, which is a great thing. My hope is, however, that as we open our churches, we will not be given this very strict instruction only that we have an obligation now to go to Mass every Sunday, but rather there will be a kind of a catechesis, an explanation, a reflection on the great gift of Eucharist. For example, that it is a communal action, that it is not a personal action that we do, but it's communal. We adore you. We give you thanks. We praise you for your glory. By your cross and resurrection, you have set us free. Our Father who art in heaven. It's very much about the community, about us. That's one reflection that I think will be extremely helpful as we come back to the table. Another one, though, is even more striking and more important, it seems, and that is the social dimension of the Eucharist. It has a social price tag, the social cost to it. In this light, I'd like to just reflect, and I hope we do this in our catechesis about the Eucharist, reflect on St. Paul's letter to the first community at Corinth, the Christian community at Corinth that was celebrating the Eucharist. And he reminds them of what they have and what he has passed on to them. The night before the Lord died, he took bread and said the blessing and gave the bread to them, saying, "This is my body," and took the cup and blessed it and said, "This is my blood. Do this in remembrance of me," the Eucharist. But what he was saying to them was in the context of a severe, almost condemnation of the way they were celebrating Eucharist. Let me read some of that to you from that same letter, that same passage, actually. When you come together, he says, it is not really to eat the Lord's Supper, for one goes hungry and another becomes drunk. Do you show contempt for the Church of God and humiliate those who have nothing? What should I say to you? Should I commend you? He's saying pretty much that the Eucharist cannot be celebrated really in a context like that of injustice. That brings us to our own situation, I think now, the global situation, where many of us, thanks be to God, are able to come together, celebrate Eucharist as a community, because we've had the vaccination, we've had the benefit of science, and we can say that we're safe. However, we're doing this in a world where billions of people, the majority of people, have not yet had access to the vaccination. They're waiting on it, or they're not going to get it. Places like India and Brazil. So this is a sense in which Paul is talking in a modern, very modern sense, that we live in a world that is very, very divided between the haves and the have-nots. And it's what Pope Francis is really pressing for us to try to overcome at every level of human life, that we look out for those who are less fortunate, that we bring everybody to the table in every single way. My hope and prayer, and I'm sure it's yours as well, is that this celebration of Corpus Christi this Sunday will remind us and keep us mindful of the fact that the Eucharist is a social sacrament. It has a lot to do with the way we are living our lives in this world, in this time in history. Amen.